So you're brand new to university, things are going really great, and then you miss a class. Is that a problem? What should you do about that? Let me talk you through it. Hello everyone, welcome to The Attic. My name's Mark Jago. I'm a philosophy professor in the UK. I'm doing a series of videos trying to answer questions from brand new students, trying to help you through those first few weeks at university. If that sounds good to you, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. That helps other students find it on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be looking at what happens if you start missing stuff at university? If you miss your lectures, you miss your seminars, or whatever. Is that a problem? Is it something you should be worried about? What should you do when you miss stuff? So if you watched the previous video in this series, you probably can guess that I'm going to tell you not to panic. And yep, that's absolutely right. If you miss stuff, the first thing is just don't panic because it will be okay. There is plenty of backup available. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to start off with a bit of why, like why some universities take attendance, why some don't, why that kind of might be important, why I think it's important to go to your lectures most of the time. And later in the video, I'm going to try and give you a bit of my advice about what to do if you miss stuff and what to do if things start going wrong. Okay, so let me run you through the kind of rules on attendance that we have at my uni. It's probably going to be maybe a bit different at yours, but they'll be roughly the same. So at my uni, lectures and seminars are all compulsory. You are meant to, you're expected to go to all of it. However, attendance isn't monitored in lectures because you might have like 100, 200 people in the room and it's just not practical to do that. Seminars, on the other hand, there's groups of 10 to 20 and we take a register. Okay, so, you're getting monitored in your seminars, but you're not getting monitored in lectures, so attendance is kind of, practically speaking, up to you. Why do we bother taking attendance in seminars? Two main reasons. The first reason, and the most important, it's about your welfare, okay? So the main reason that you see students missing a lot of stuff is that things aren't going well for them. Maybe the first few weeks at uni haven't gone well for them for whatever reason, or maybe they have and then problems develop. Maybe they've got some mental health problems. Maybe they're just not getting enough sleep. Maybe they haven't worked out that routine of university life properly. For whatever reason it is, somebody not showing up to class can be a signal to us lecturers, to personal tutors, that this student is encountering trouble but hasn't asked for any help yet. So what I would do as a personal tutor is if I see from looking at my registers that somebody hasn't been coming to class for, several in a row, I might find out what other modules they're doing and get in touch with those lecturers and try and find out, are they turning up to those classes? And, if they're going to all the other classes and mine's at 9 a.m, I might think, well, okay, yeah, I kind of see why that's happening. But if we've got someone who isn't going to any of their classes across the board, okay, that's kind of when the alarm bells are ringing and we're thinking maybe here's somebody who needs some extra support. So we'll get in touch. If that happens to you, don't freak out. It's not like you are now in trouble. It's more about, do you need any extra help? And if so, here's a really good time to be asking for it. Second reason that we're checking about attendance in seminars is that there is this academic benefit of turning up to stuff, right? I mean, that is one of the main things that you are paying for, your tuition, when you study at university. Time with your tutors, time with your lecturers. So if you're not going to that, you're kind of missing out. And you might say like, well, it's up to you what you do. And it kind of is, yeah. But, having done this for quite some number of years now, there is definitely a significant correlation between students who turn up to stuff and students who do well. It's not always the case that, somebody who always turns up will do well and somebody who rarely turns up won't do well. You get people who kind of work in weird ways or whatever. But on the whole, students who do well tend to turn up an awful lot. Like, I noticed this definitely in my logic classes. The students who perform the best are the ones who are there kind of every week and then knocking on my door for like extra help. Okay. They kind of do really well in the tests. And, my guess would be that whatever your kind of situation, whatever your academic ability or level or background or whatever, you would do better if you turned up to more stuff. And I think there's also a third benefit to turning up to stuff, which is kind of slightly separate from the academic one, but ties into it. And that is that, learning right the way through a degree for 3 years of this stuff, it's important to develop a good academic routine, a good learning routine early on, okay? So it's not just kind of this sporadic bit of information here, bit of information there. But your week and your academic term has this kind of routine to it, whereby you're going, okay, I'm going to go to this lecture, I'm going to go to this seminar, and in between I'm going to be like talking to people, discussing things or making my notes. I talked about that stuff in the previous video. Going to this stuff helps you to tie into that routine. Often it happens that once you stop going to lectures, you drop off with all the other stuff as well, and that's when things can start going bad. So by kind of kicking your own ass into going to as many lectures as you can, ideally all of them, all the lectures, all the seminars, that builds up really good routines. Okay, so what happens if you are missing a lecture? Well, look, if you miss one lecture, it's basically no problem. It's pretty easy to catch up on that stuff. Perhaps the lecture was recorded and you can just go and watch it in your own time. Sometimes that isn't an option, but the lecturer will have a bunch of notes or suggested reading. You can go and do that. Even if you don't do that catch up, it might not be a problem. Some courses, they kind of build lecture by lecture, but some don't. It's different topics each week. And if you miss one topic, well, you just don't answer on that topic in the exam. It's not the end of the world, particularly in the first year. This stuff matters more in the third year. First year, I just wouldn't worry too much about missing the odd lecture. If you went to a party and slept in, no big deal. Don't worry about it. Definitely don't panic and beat yourself up. The main point here is one about you being honest with yourself, right? If you miss one thing 1 week, it's not an issue. But then if you miss the next thing the next week, and then it's a kind of a couple of things in the third week, and by the fourth week, you're missing most of it, then we're starting to think, okay, what is going on here? Okay, so if that's happening to you, that's when you have to start thinking about why are you missing loads of these lectures? And that can be a whole bunch of reasons, right? Maybe you're having some mental health issues. Maybe you've just discovered the wonderful world of recreational drugs and found that that's kind of incompatible with going to lectures at these kind of times in the morning. Maybe you're just finding the lectures kind of boring. Okay, different kind of solutions are needed in each of those cases. I think the thing that goes for all of them is that it's a problem at that point and we can do something about it if you come and ask for help. Okay, so whatever issues you're having that's stopping you getting to lectures regularly, we can sort it out if you come and ask for help. If you don't ask for help, nothing we can do about it. So at my uni, if you miss a certain proportion of stuff, you might get into trouble. You might get a letter saying, look, we need to talk to you about this and you need to explain what's going on here. Again, the intention from us behind that isn't one of like punishing people for not coming. It's not about that at all. It's much more about getting you to come in, sit down and tell us what's going on so that we can help. Absolutely every year that I've been a lecturer and a tutor, there are students just like you who start off great and then encounter trouble. And, maybe to them it looks like, oh, I've messed all this up and I don't know what to do now, but they've come along and chat with me. And, I'm not saying I can just wave a magic wand and make it all right, but there's so much stuff that we can do. Maybe if you've missed assessments and it's all starting to pile up, there are ways we can work around that, right? We can work with extra kind of support for learning. We can work for extra ways of rescheduling your assessments, maybe in the summer exam period, that kind of stuff. Basically, if you've got a problem that's getting in the way of studying, turning up for lectures, that kind of stuff, just reach out to your personal tutor for help. And they will do the best they can to sort stuff out. And most of the time, we can sort it all out and it's not going to be a problem. Like I said right at the beginning, the most important thing is don't worry. Try hard, turn up to your lectures. I'm recommending that you go to all of the stuff because it's good and you've paid for it, so you're entitled to it. Point is, if you don't for whatever reason, don't worry about it. Okay, so I hope you have found this useful. If you have, give the video a thumbs up. That helps other people to find it. You can do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get notifications. I'm going to be doing more videos in this series, trying to answer questions that students right at the start of the year tend to ask. In the next one, I'm going to be thinking about, so what happens if I fail an assessment? Okay, so I hope you join me back for that one.